If you think a clean counter means safe food, you might want to hear this. We're counting down 5 massive chains where small mistakes scale into big outbreaks.
So investigators are trying to determine what happened in California and whether or not it's related to what happened in Boston, as well as the numerous other outbreaks that Chipotle has experienced over the last year.
Mexican fast food chain Chipotle is now facing a criminal investigation.
It's been served a federal subpoena tied to a norovirus outbreak.
Think Chipotle's multi-year run of norovirus, Salmonella, and E. coli that led to a federal penalty in 2020, and lettuce-linked E. coli that hit Taco Bell and Wendy's years apart. Stay with me, because I'll show you why volume and complex supply chains turn one slip into hundreds of sick customers, and how to spot the red flags before your meal becomes a medical bill. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
One of its California restaurants. Paula Reed has been going over that subpoena for us. Paula, always good to see you. What are investigators looking for at this hour?
Last August, dozens of customers and several employees reported symptoms of the norovirus. Well, Chipotle has been asked to provide a wide range of documents related to a norovirus outbreak at one of its California locations last year.
You see the spotless counter, the shiny sneeze guard, the staged lemons by the tea. The real risk isn't at arm's length. It starts upstream, where one sloppy rinse or a missed sanitizer step seeds a batch that feeds states, not tables. Let's start with the core idea. Scale multiplies error. A single bin of produce or a spice mix runs through a centralized processor, gets chopped, bagged, and sent out in bulk. By lunch, it's in hundreds of stores.
Now, that location was what they call deep cleaned and then reopened, but it's similar to another norovirus outbreak that Chipotle also had in its Boston location.
Yeah, you mentioned the other outbreaks, another norovirus outbreak and an E. coli outbreak. Are they at all part of this criminal investigation?
Before a manager notices odd smell or texture, those bags are open, spread across lines, and scooped into wraps, bowls, and burgers. At a small diner, a bad head of lettuce ruins a dozen salads. In a network this big, the same slip rides a truck route. Brands promise fresh, safe, audited. They show checklists, training clips, glossy farms. Yet when public health maps the sick, dots keep clustering around shared suppliers and fast hands under pressure. The story repeats. Multi-state outbreaks traced to a common ingredient, then stress inside the store as staff juggle speed, timers, and trays.
Leading to these various outbreaks. So even though the E. coli outbreaks are not specifically mentioned in the SEC filing, they're inevitably going to be part of this overall investigation. Well, Marie, they have to be, because until they can prove that they're not related, investigators have to look for any potential links and determine whether or not there are systemic problems at Chipotle, as the Department of Justice tries to determine whether there's negligence or criminal culpability that is leading to these various outbreaks.
Think of it like a tiny crack in a dam. In one kitchen, the leak makes a puddle you mop. Across 10,000 kitchens, that crack is a flood that moves with the delivery schedule. Same water, different reach. Food safety hinges on 3 things that do not bend. Keep cold food cold, cook hot food hot, and stop raw from touching ready to eat. That means cold holding backups in the 30s, not the mid-40s. It means cooking to safe internal temps and letting items rest long enough to finish the kill step.
Very popular restaurant. There's just about one on every single corner. What does this investigation mean for the restaurant chain going forward?
A criminal investigation by the Department of Justice is just about as bad as it can get for a company. What's not good? They've already seen sliding sales, stocks plummeting, and not great public relations as a result of this.
It means clean knives for ready veggies and separate boards for raw meat. Volume strains each point. When every minute brings a new rush, lids sit open, pans run low, and someone stacks raw next to finished because the rack is full. The rules stay the same. The friction grows. Now, lettuce keeps showing up as a repeat offender for a reason. It's raw. No heat later to bail you out. It moves through fields, cutters, washers, packers, then into chilled bags. From there, it's opened, rinsed or not, and handled by many hands on the line.
So I can tell you, DeMarco, it's not good, and ultimately Chipotle is going to have to address the causes of these various outbreaks and expect repercussions from the Department of Justice.
One lot can ride a national truck line and land in bins from coast to coast. Once it's there, tongs touch it, gloves brush it, and it goes straight to your sandwich. Complex menus add their own trapdoors. The more builds, sauces, and line stations, the more tiny steps that can slip. Rapid throughput pushes people to prioritize movement over method. Temperature logs become after-the-fact scribbles. Thermometers sit in a drawer because we know the cook time. Gloves get swapped late because tearing open a new box slows the queue. Former workers from big brands have said the quiet part out loud. During peak hour, corners get cut. That's not a smear. It's a human response to a timer that never stops. Upstream, the same math applies. Central kitchens and distributors keep costs down and portions uniform. They also create a single point of failure. If the wash tank falls out of spec, if the cooler loses a few degrees overnight, if a supplier has a dirty drill bit near a processing line, contamination has a highway, not a side street. We've seen how that plays out over and over when investigators follow the shipping logs backward and hit the same dock door.
The company's sales are down about 22% compared to this quarter last year. But in reality, the burrito is at least 700 calories. The new chorizo burrito was supposed to help Chipotle recover after the 2015 E. coli crisis.
Here's where we raise the stakes. In a moment, we'll revisit the benchmark meltdown that rewrote cooking standards and supplier checks across the industry. It didn't end the risk. Recent penalties and investigations prove the problem isn't stuck in the past. The rulebook grew out of pain. The fines keep reminding companies why those lines exist. So the mini payoff for you, when you choose a giant chain, you're choosing its supply web. The bigger the web, the bigger the blast radius when a strand snaps. You can't see it from the register, but it's there in every bag, bin, and pan. Now let's move on to the benchmark meltdown that forced the system to change, and why the lesson still gets ignored. The real kicker: the counter can sparkle, but if the pipeline behind it is cracked, that shine is staged. Size decides how far a crack spreads.
Chipotle stock fell today on news that it was temporarily closing dozens of stores in reaction to an E. coli scare.
Lately, the company has found itself on the defensive for making hundreds of people sick and losing millions in sales.
A small breach leaks. A giant network sprays it down the highway. So what is the takeaway for you? Read risk, not slogans. Ask simple things. How long has that pan sat out? Are temperature logs real? Do raw and ready share space? Small questions change orders.
The Department of Justice is now investigating the company for possible criminal activity in connection to food safety.
If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who orders on autopilot. Want the chain-by-chain risk map and what to avoid on each menu? Comment which one next.